best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the Money Pig. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Good news and bad news. 12-4 on last week's video, but the two I liked the most didn't hit. That's NFL. It's volatile. Your boy is reading the board really well right now. Let's get to week 5. Let's get some money. First game, Thursday night football. We got the Chicago Bears, the Bears, at the Washington No Names. Bears are plus 6.5. I got the Bears to cover, Commanders to win. I was on an island last week when I said the Bears would cover against the Broncos. They had no business losing that game, but we know what the Bears are. It's an organization not only in decline, but it is burning up. Like, it is the term dumpster fire. It's how you use it. Listen, Sam Howell isn't as bad as the public thought he would be, but I do think some people are hyping him up a bit too much. He's been loose with the football. I think he throws an interception or two that will keep this game close. And I just wonder, like, how is Ron Rivera's game plan going to be on a short week? I trust Fields to make magic happen. I know that Washington defensive line is absolute fire. I do think Fields at least has a little bit of confidence, a little bit of mojo back. Bears cover this, maybe backdoor style. Commanders win the damn game. Next game, we're going to London. We got the Jacksonville Jags at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are minus 5.5. Money, money, money. Money. Bills to win in the cover. Listen, we saw what the Bills did to the Dolphins last week. Do I think the Bills are like 30, 20 points better than the Dolphins? Absolutely not, but we have to give them credit where credit is due. But let me focus on the Jags. Last week, the Jags were a money pick. And I'm happy they got the business done. But we got to take that with a big grain of salt. Desmond Ridder was an absolute disaster. And this Jags defense just hasn't impressed me. The game against the Falcons was the first game they were actually able to get pressure on the quarterback. I think they're like 30th in the league in pass rushing stats. If you can't hit Josh Allen, if you can't get in his face and he can't smell your breath, he's going to tear you apart. And the Bills are on the high right now. They're going to ride that out. I do want caution for the Bills' future bettors. I'll tell you that. But right now, the Bills are damn near unstoppable. Bills win by a touchdown in London. You do worry about London. Jags are staying over, but I don't think it's going to make a damn bit of difference. I actually think the Jags players having to stay a week hurts them more than it helps them. Bills to win in the cover, make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions. Panthers plus 9. I got the Panthers to cover, Lions to win. Listen, we called that performance against the Lions last week against the Packers. Once again, we picked the Lions, everyone doubts us, and they come through, and Dan Campbell is celebrating at the end. I do think the Panthers can keep this close. I do want to give one critique of the Lions. I don't feel like they played a full 4-quarter game this year. You guys know what I'm saying. It seems like they're stop and start. We saw the first half against the Packers, but we saw the second half as well. And I do think the Lions are able to run it. I think the Lions are going to go for over 150 rushing yards. This Panthers defense can't stop anyone. And also, I don't think Bryce Young is getting enough critique. I do think he's getting a pass here. He hasn't been good. I think the Panthers somehow managed to keep it close. Not a lot of science. Detroit to win. If this gets down to 8.5, Detroit is a teaser option for sure. Next game, we got the New York Giants at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are minus 10.5. I got the Dolphins to win in the cover, but I absolutely hate this spread. I think it opened at 8.5, and then obviously after that disaster on Monday night, it pushed up to 10.5. Listen, I think the Dolphins come out ready to get revenge, and I think they go wild on the Giants. And let's go schematics here. If you were a defensive coordinator, what coverage would you not want to use against Miami? Man-to-man, right? That's all the Giants do when they can't get a pass rush, so they're going to try to blitz, and then Tua's going to be looking at Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle matched up against two below-average corners. That equals Dolphins, that equals touchdowns, that equals the Dolphins covering the spread. And also, the Seahawks don't have a great pass rush. They do not have a good front four. They don't have good defensive ends. But you would think fucking prime Khalil Mack and J.J. Watt were rushing a passer on Monday night against this Giants offensive line. Dolphins defense has to respond. I mean, the more I talk about it, the more I'm talking myself into betting it. I'll lay off Dolphins winning the cover. 10.5 is a ton, but this Giants team's bad, man. And Dable looks like he's losing his damn head. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals, bro, at the Arizona Cards. Bengals -3. Money, money, money. Money. Bengals to win in the cover. I think I'm going against the grain here. Let's give Jonathan Gannon some credit. He doesn't have a lot of talent. They're probably 31st or 32nd on overall talent in the damn league. Let's be honest. But he's been coaching well, and his dudes are fighting for him. I'm surprised, and I'm sure you're surprised as well. I'm looking at this Bengals team, and I called the Titans beating them. I called it, man. So if you were a Bengals bettor last week, don't get emotional. Don't get in your feelings right now. You got to just say, man, this Bengals defense has to respond. And I know Burrow did fuck all against the Titans, and that defensive line of the Titans isn't any joke. But this is going to be a scrappy game like the Bengals game against the Rams. I think the Bengals will put up just enough points, 23 points. This is also one to live bet. The Cardinals are not a good fourth quarter team. They proved it once again last week. Once it gets to the second half, they start to wilt away. I'm going out on a limb here. Bengals to win in the cover. Make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. Titans are +1.5. Titans to win in the cover again, and this is what I'm talking about when I say do not get emotional. Listen, we hit the Titans last week with the Bengals. We didn't get emotional about that Browns loss. And I think the Titans roll into Indy, and I believe they get a victory. I love Anthony Richardson, and I guys told you on Instagram before the season, I'm feeling Stroud and I'm feeling Richardson. And I think Richardson will make 3 or 4 big plays this game. But I'm not certain the Colts are able to run the rock, whether it be with Richardson or whether it be with their running backs. And that's going to be a problem against Tennessee. We know the way to attack Tennessee. You get in 3 wide receivers, you throw the damn ball, and you throw it deep. And you try to work around Bayard. I just don't know how the Colts are going to do it. I don't think the receiving core is good enough, and that's a big problem. The Rams played a really sound game against the Colts, and I felt like they left the blueprint to beat them. Now, the Titans on the other side, you do worry about Tannehill. It is a constant worry. We know that Colts front 7 is pretty damn good, but last week it was encouraging to see King Henry get over 100 yards. I think the Titans win the game. I believe they cover. I just think they're the more physical team, and Vrabel's going to find a way, man. I like Vrabel in this matchup, even though I've been very, very impressed with Shane Steichen. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints at the New England Patriots. Patriots -1.5. I have to do it again, do I? I have to do it again. Patriots to win in the cover. Don't like doing this. Listen, this is very, very simple. If Derek Carr starts, you got to bet the Patriots, even with how bad Mac Jones is and how much he's collapsing. Listen, I told you guys last week in that Bucs-Saints game, I didn't think the AC joint of Carr would be healed. And then we got a stat which was insane. I believe Kamara had 13 catches for 38 yards. That has to be some sort of NFL record, and most of those are behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, Carr's shoulder just isn't holding up. I think they're going to trot him out there again. I don't think Carmichael has any creative ideas on offense. I think the Patriots win the game, and I think this is the ugliest damn game of the weekend. Maybe we see famous Jameis Winston, and like I said last week, I don't know if he's on retirement, early retirement, or what he's on, but it was telling he didn't get that start last week. If we see Jameis, just don't even touch this game either way. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are +4. Money, 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 money. Borderline money pick. Don't get carried away here. Please do not get carried away. I like the Steelers with the +4 to cover. I think the Ravens will find some way, somehow, to grind out a game. And I told you guys, the Steelers were going to lose to the Texans last week. Money line spread, whatever way you wanted to count it. I'm not high on the Steelers team. But I'm also not so sold on these Ravens. You know, if Deshaun Watson plays that Browns game, I'm not sure the Ravens win the damn thing. And that's not me sandbagging. That's me being realistic and having an actual fucking brain. I just don't think this Ravens team is good. And I don't think they're going to walk away with this AFC North like everyone was talking about Monday morning. This Steelers team, if Pickett doesn't play, can we have an honest eye-to-eye, brain-to-brain conversation? Can we be honest about something? I've never been a Mitch Trubisky fan, even when he was in the second year. But is there a big difference between Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett? If anything, I feel like Mitch is a little bit of an upgrade because he has a little bit more mobility than Kenny. And I just think this Ravens team is not going to cover this game. I don't think this is going to be easy. Mike Tomlin's back is up against the wall, man, and there isn't a lot of science. A lot of you guys said a few weeks ago, listen, the Browns are way better than the Steelers, but I'm picking the Steelers at home on Monday night because Tomlin magic, Heinz Field, all that stuff. That's why I'm picking Pittsburgh to cover with the 4. I think the Ravens win the game late with the 58-yard Tucker field goal. Next game, we got the Houston Texans. Stroud at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons -1.5. I got the Falcons to win in the cover. But no one say I don't know how to judge quarterbacks. I was saying all off season that Desmond Ridder was the worst starting quarterback in this league. And everyone wanted to throw Stroud under the bus. Everyone wanted to fade Stroud. With that being said, I think the Falcons find a way to grind out this game. They have to get something going on offense. I know Desmond Ridder's the worst starter in this league. I'm not so sure we don't see Heineke this game. He really should have came in at halftime in the Jags. And the Texans have had issues with stopping the run earlier in the year. And the wrong team you want to face is the Falcons. The Falcons can't pass block at all. But when they're going forward, they can create holes. And I think Bijan Robinson has a huge game. Now on the other side, listen, I'm high on the Texans. I've been high on them since week 1. I'm not getting off this bandwagon. I am not getting off D'Amico Ryans at all. But I do think this will be a minor setback for a big comeback for the Texans. I just think Atlanta wins it late, more run game. Desmond Ridder is a huge issue, though. That's why this isn't a money pick. Atlanta does play a lot better in that dome. And I did say on Instagram, man, field condition in that Jags-Falcons game was going to be a big factor. It obviously was. Desmond Ridder's arm was another big factor. Falcons winning the cover with the -1.5. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Hurts at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are +4.5. Man, I want to bad. Rams to win in the cover. This isn't going to be popular, but it's contingent on one piece of information. If Cooper Kupp plays, I think the Rams can pull a rabbit out of their hat. And I'm not low on the Eagles at all. I am not. But elite teams lose in this league to mediocre teams. And we can honestly call the Rams a mediocre team. I like their first half against the Colts, and we saw what they did in the second half. But I think the Rams are going to get the ball out of Stafford's hand. And if Stafford's ready to go and healthy, he's going to complete passes. And the big weakness of this Philadelphia Eagles team is their secondary. Like, no one's really talking about that, but they haven't been able to cover anyone this year. Like, look at Sam Howell's performance against the Bills and then against the Eagles secondary. Look at the difference. Look at the quantum leap between both games and both performances. I think the Rams are going to be able to throw it. If you give me Cooper Kupp in that slot, I just think the Rams keep moving the ball, hanging around the game, hanging the ball around in the game. And I do think this Philadelphia Eagles offense is starting to find their way, but I don't think they're back to full rhythm, full machismo like we saw last year. Give me the Rams winning a cover in a damn upset. I'm reaching a little bit. But listen, man, this Eagles team is good. They're going to be there in the playoffs. I don't want to get shit from Eagles fans. I know how you guys are. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. Jets are +2.5. Jets to win in the cover. Jets to win in the cover. I'm not backing off this team. I know. When you go into battle with Zach Wilson, it's not good. You don't feel good about it. Your heart palpitates a little bit if you have money on one of his games. I know how it is. Listen. But this Broncos defense, listen, they're 31st or 32nd in the NFL. I don't think Frank Clark's going to magically get healthy this game. I think he's missed every game of the damn year so far. So I think Zach Wilson will have time. And dare I say, maybe Zach Wilson has a little bit of confidence. Maybe he does, and I think that's enough. And another problem with the Broncos this year, you can run the ball against them. So we might not even have to worry about Zach Wilson that much. We might get like a 14-15 pass attempt game. Now, on the other side, I told you 2 weeks ago, Russell isn't the problem with this team. He's actually playing a little bit better than last year. But with that being said, I'm sticking to what I said week 2. This Jets defense is the best damn defense in the league. They got a bunch of warriors. I think the Jets defense pulls this out. And actually, money. I talked myself into it. I'll suffer with Zach Wilson this week on the road at Mile High. I'll suffer with that. I'll put my balls on the line. We'll see what you guys do. Next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at my Minnesota Vikings. Chiefs -5.5. I got the Vikings to cover, Chiefs to win. Listen, we got my Vikings at a good price on Tuesday at 3.5, and they made us sweat, to say the least. It should have been an easy cover, but I think the Vikings are competitive in this game. I think they cover, and I do think the Chiefs are in a similar situation as the Eagles. I do feel like they're sleepwalking. I do feel like they're looking for solutions to a few problems, but I don't know if the Chiefs have the solution. Like, the Vikings can't cover anyone. I mean, they only got 2 good players in the secondary. But I do wonder the lack of option to go with Travis Kelce. How much is it going to hurt the Chiefs? And is this Chiefs defense ready to play at the level they need to? I think the Vikings keep it close. Chiefs win the game. Not a good read on this one, to be honest. Next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. Niners -3.5. Money. Niners winning the cover. And listen, they were tested a little bit in the first half against the Cardinals. And One thing I took from that game is Shanahan's play calling is making Brock Purdy look like a top 10 quarterback. And whenever you have a coach that just seems on the dial, in the flow, I'm going to go with them. I'm going to roll with them. And this 49ers team has won us so much money over the last 4 years. I feel like I need to make this stand. Now, credit to Big D for what they did against the Patriots. I mean, those 2 defensive touchdowns, maybe one wasn't a defensive touchdown, but they got the ball at like the 10. I just think this Cowboys defense, they have one weakness. And that's if you run the ball right at Micah Parsons. They were able to stop the Patriots run game with no Cole Strange, an offensive line that is overrated. But I don't know if they're going to be able to stop this 49ers run game. And if the 49ers really are keyed into this game, I think the 49ers dominate in all areas. Also, one thing you need to do against the 49ers, you need to go 3 wide receivers and you need to throw it. And you need to throw it deep like the Chiefs did last year when the Chiefs were on the road in San Fran. I don't think Dak is feeling himself enough to do it. I feel like if you take CeeDee Lamb out of the game, the Cowboys just don't have enough options. Also, still not really liking the red zone offense. 49ers winning the cover, making a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders plus 2.5. Raiders winning the cover. There's no fucking science here. There's no science here. I don't know which team is better, which team is worse. I don't know, and I'll get on here and say I don't know. But I do think the Raiders find a way to run the ball. But I've been saying that for 4 fucking weeks, and they haven't ran it at all. I think Josh Jacobs got like 58 yards against the Chargers team we know is susceptible to the run. If Jimmy G's in here, give me the Raiders to win in the cover. I don't know how good the Packers are going to respond, and Christian Watson is really milking this thing. I mean, without him, I'm sticking to my preseason position. I don't feel like there's enough firepower for Jordan Love to work with, especially with Aaron Jones banged up. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. The best gambling show on the internet. Love you guys. Have a great week.